Hello, it's Amazon author Matthew Michael Collins. How much have I made self-publishing? Let's see, that would be about negative $300. Now, why on earth would you continue watching this when I'm trying to help you self-publish if I've lost $300? Well, as Yoda said in Star Wars, failure is the greatest teacher. So, why don't you listen to a few things that I've learned along the way in self-publishing what is now to be my 6th book in Return of the Frith. First of all, you can't even find my name on Amazon if you look up Matthew Michael Collins. My name. Nobody else has that name, but they will not advertise for you unless you get enough reviews in quick enough fashion. Okay, well, let me tell you something. I've got 10 reviews on one book of mine, and they're all 5 stars, except for one is 4 stars. And, I've got some great reviews, incredible words that are just heartfelt and all that stuff. But you cannot find my books unless you actually click on a link that I provide, which sucks. Now let me tell you something. I had almost 100,000 followers on social media between all the various platforms, including the podcast that I was on that I'm not anymore. Okay, 100,000 followers. Guess how many books you sell? Doesn't necessarily translate to sales. My last book, I now have 2 sales, and I'm so appreciative. Thank you, Eric and Shane. I appreciate it. But I was watching this YouTube, and it was saying it's much easier to get someone to buy your book than to read your book, because they would rather just give you X amount of money instead of actually reading your book, because it takes time. And we live in an instant gratification era. It's strange to me how many readers there are, and yet I could give my book away for free on Amazon Kindle, because I'm not going to give away a physical copy because that would cost me money to do, and then I would go in the hole more. And still, no one reads my books. No one reads my free books. They don't even give me a shot. So there's Amazon not giving me a shot because they don't put my name out there, and you literally can't find me even if you look my name up, which I'm sure probably some people do, especially considering, like I said, I had 100,000 followers, and I still have quite a bit of following. And 2, I don't know, I forgot. I guess. But the point is, it's not easy to be found. And, that's what they say, you have to make a name for yourself. Because if you have a name that's common to other people, for example, Matthew Collins, there's another author named Matthew Collins, even though I distinctly have Matthew Michael Collins. Or if you type in Michael Collins pops up, even if you type in Matthew Michael Collins. So you literally have to make a name for yourself. You have to get the reviews enough in time. I believe it's 75 reviews in 6 months, which is a lot harder than it sounds. At least it was for me. Then Amazon starts advertising for you. Okay, now, here's some other ways to potentially save money as a self-published author. It's free to publish on Amazon or Lulu. Now, here's why I lost $500 the first time I published. I published through Lightning Ingram, which is a fine company, but it's the same thing as Lulu, L-U. So I literally paid $500 to publish with someone that should have been, by all means, free. So, learned my mistake off the first time, obviously. Now, granted, I sold, I think, 15 copies of my first book, which, awesome. But out of those 15 copies, like I said, it's easier to get someone to buy your book than to review it or to read it. So I got 1 review for that book out of 15. I don't know if the other people didn't like it. I have no idea, because they could have left a bad review, negative review, but nope. So then on my second book, that's the one I have 10, almost all 5-star reviews. How did I do that? I wish I knew. I have no idea. This will be my 6th book. By the way, look up Return of the Frith. That'll be the easiest way to find me, because you have to have a catchy name. Make a name for yourself. If you type in Matthew Michael Collins on Amazon, you will not find me. Matter of fact, you're better off Googling Matthew Michael Collins author. That pops my name up. But Amazon, they purposely do not show your stuff. you have to your stuff. Not like that either. But yeah, if you don't get enough reviews in time, you don't exist to Amazon. So it's a big company. They just don't want to show you because you're not bringing anyone to their site, according to them. Even though I've had 10, almost all 5-star reviews, doesn't matter to them. They could care less. Now, I published 6 books, and I've lost $300. But I paid $500 at first, so that means I have made up some money at least. Thank goodness. A relief. Which, gives me hope to keep publishing, even though my last book sold 2 copies. Thank you, Eric and Shane. Eric and Shane bought copies of my book, and I know they'll actually read them, which is, again, the hard part of being a self-published author especially. Now, just because you're not self-published, what's the difference between publishing and self-publishing? Okay. If you go through all the loops of getting a publisher, which is becoming increasingly more difficult, does that mean you're going to sell copies? More copies? Nope. It means you probably paid a lot more money, because self-publishing's free if you're smart about it, and you still don't necessarily sell any copies because it's all on you. Now, your publisher might put you out there, but that doesn't mean you're going to sell any copies. How many books do you see every day, especially if you're on Twitter? Twitter's a good place for authors, but the problem is the market's oversaturated so badly that it's just like Amazon. You type in a name and you cannot find it because there's so many books. Matthew and Michael are very, very, very common names. Collins, one of the most popular last names. So I could change my name. That might make it easier for me to make a name for myself. As a matter of fact, I watched a Simpsons episode yesterday where Homer changed his name to Max Power, and it changed things for him. Changing your name does have magical qualities because, well, if you change it to a easier to find name, then people might find your work. So, I'm on the verge of publishing my first novel, a sci-fi fantasy novel. But it would be nice to have people read my work. So, if you want to read my work, I'm going to go put another book on sale on Amazon Kindle for free. They're free on Amazon Kindle Unlimited always, by the way, if you have Amazon Kindle Unlimited, which you can get a 3-month subscription for free, as long as you remember to cancel it before 3 months. Then you could read any of my work, almost any of my work, for free. All that's digital, all that's Amazon Kindle, which I think is all but one book, I believe. So anyways, yeah, if you feel like supporting an author, go right ahead, if you can find me. And yeah, it's sad, but like I said, failure's the greatest teacher, so don't make the same mistakes I did. Ooh, and something else I wanted to discuss. Editing? Okay. It costs a few grand to get an editor, so obviously I've never done that. Except for once, thank you, Michael. He edited my book, and I did not have to pay thousands of dollars, because then I would be in the hole a lot more with costs of publishing. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. And by the way, that's my best reviewed book too. And best-selling book. Why is that? Ask yourself. Because if you partner with people in any way, shape, and form, it gets your name out there more. So, collaborate. That's why I don't like AI, because it breaks the collaboration between people that naturally should happen. I've had various artists do covers for me, and I didn't pay them. I just am like, hey, if I make sales, I'll cut you in, but, I don't really make sales, so haven't been able to pay them. But also, they want their name out there. They want their art being used, because that's what it comes down to. You're talking about art not even getting used. Just like hardly anyone reads my books. It sucks. It's like painting pictures in a world of people with no eyes. Why would you? So, I know there's a lot of readers out there. Hello, potential readers. Check out my work for free on Amazon Kindle or Amazon Kindle Unlimited and see if you like me. Leave a negative review, leave a positive review. Just leave a review, and then maybe people will be able to find me. I hope this helped. I don't mean to be discouraging. I'm just being honest. The world of publishing is not an easy one to get into, but it can be free if you do your own editing, which is not easy. And, you know, how do you find people that are editors, artists for your cover, readers, all that kind of stuff? Writers group. I now get critiqued, and it's excellent. You have to put your heart out there to get judged. But it's worth it because that's the only way to grow. Just like failure is the greatest teacher. Thank you, Yoda. But if you don't try, do or do not, there is no try. I don't know how you're gonna do it. It takes a concerted effort, and still, you have to figure out how to do it because marketing is not easy. That's the hard part, is marketing. So, editing, marketing, readers, which you can find on Amazon apparently somehow, people that will review your book and stuff. Art for your cover, that's all stuff you could pay for, or you could do it yourself. And I don't use AI ever. I do it all myself. And like I said, I've been grateful enough to have people that have donated their art to use for my book. And editing I do myself. And I'm telling you, I mean, you're talking about reading the same book 5 times after you wrote it the initial time. It is a bit maddening, and you have to take a step back for a while because you need fresh eyes on it. It is a long process, and it's unfortunate that still you're not guaranteed anyone's even going to read your book after you yourself have read and edited it 5 times, and you get no feedback, so you don't know if your book is doing any good in the world or not, because you don't even get negative reviews because it's difficult to find on Amazon. So this is all stuff to keep in mind. My failures can be your success. Don't mess up in the same way I did. Don't get Lightning Ingram. Go through Lulu or Amazon if you're going to self-publish and make a name for yourself. Build an audience. But the thing is, I build an audience, and it's a lot of authors and people trying to get me to use their marketing stuff. And guess what that does for reading? Not much. So look for readers. Look for people that want to review. Those are things, and this is advice I'm giving to myself too. So anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you can find me to read some of my books. Remember, Amazon Kindle Unlimited, Return of the Frith, Frith. Thanks for watching, and good luck, authors.